Hello, everybody. We're here for another Sick Drummer Magazine roundtable. My name is Ian McDonald. I am honored and humbled to be joined by some amazing guys, amazing players with some pretty wild histories in music. First off, next to me here is Marco Pitruzzella.
Yo.
We have Mr. Art Cruz.
Yo.
And below me, we have Navene Koperweis.
Yo.
And then, of course, Matt Byrne.
What's up?
How we all doing?
Great.
We are
Doing awesome, man. Awesome.
Excelente.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for taking the time out to join us and be part of this. We've done quite a few, and they've all been pretty wild. And we started off with back. It was a short. Well, we've done some singles with like Dirk Byrne, Tim Young, and Pierce Williams. Then we went on to a Ken Schalk with Elliot Hoffman, and then the roundtables were Matt Thompson with Derek Roddy, Bittner, Gus Rios. It was co-hosted by Rain and Bozio. Then we went to Nick Barker, Flo, Adam Jarvis, Dave McGraw, and that was hosted by Dave Colross Jr. And then we went to Chase in Westmoreland, Bryce Butler, Gabe Sieber, Aaron Hetzko, which was co-hosted by Anthony Zakari. And Shannon Lucas, Kevin Talley, John Merriman, and Alan Cassidy was the most recent one, which I didn't think would ever happen, but it did, and it was pretty fucking fun. So thank you for being here. And again, I just said this pre-podcast. Navene, congratulations, and Shaney on your recent wedding.
Oh, thanks, man.
Wish you guys nothing but the best.
Yeah, it was a good time. We had a wedding, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I saw some pictures. It looked like a really good time.
Yeah, it was really fun. We did our when you it's called like a grand entrance. I don't know how many you guys are into wedding lingo, but basically you walk out after you get married, and then when you walk back in, they're like, "I present to you, Mr. and Mrs. that thing," and then you walk in, and we did it to our song was a dying fetus song. So
Nice. Which one?
That kicks ass, bro.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Oh, hell yeah.
Obviously, had to be.
Yeah.
We're like, we have to do it. We have to do it.
That's fun. That's one of the coolest things I've heard.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool metal moment.
Beats my wedding song.
Nah.
Just kidding, honey.
Yeah, we kind of had to live up to like some of the metal stuff. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
metal wedding, but we
That's beautiful.
injected some metal in there, here and there.
That's funny. Well, what we do first on these roundtables is I like to just go around and get a little bit of history of everybody from the beginnings of their musical endeavors, going back to your household. What kind of music you were exposed to. Maybe it was parents or relatives, aunts, uncles, friends. But as early back as you can remember, just take your time and kind of walk us through a little bit about what it was like, and eventually what it was or who it was that really made you want to be a drummer. And we'll go ahead and we'll just Marco, you're next to me, so why don't we just start with you, man?
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I come from a totally non-musical family. So even me just being so involved with music is almost like some sort of anomaly or something, So, but for me, as a kid growing up, I was exposed to, my parents are boomers, So I listened to a lot of Doors. I heard a lot of Doors growing up. And then even just like pop music, a lot of Michael Jackson, like in the late 80s and the early 90s, we were pretty much anything that was on the radio is what I was, listening to with my parents. My brother was really into like rap music. So I listened to a lot of rap when I was younger. And then it was pretty much like around, third grade. My best friend at the time, John, he started playing guitar, and our other friend played bass, and literally randomly he was like, "Hey dude, you should play the drums." So on my 9th birthday, he got me my first pair of drumsticks, and I just went to my parents and I was like, "Hey, I want to start playing the drums," like pretty much at total random. This is like totally random shit. And basically around that time, this was like early 90s, mid 90s. So I was really at that time, Green Day was just fresh. It was like Green Day, a lot of Offspring, No Doubt, Rage Against the Machine, all that stuff was like, you know, the new music and the popular rock music. So I was like really into that stuff for a while. And then, you know, just playing the drums, practicing the drums to all that was a lot of fun. But I was always trying to find, you know, something harder and faster, you know. And so it was, you know, like around middle school, I got some random like compilation album. I think it was like for some movie soundtrack, and the band Living Sacrifice was on it. And that was the first time I ever heard double bass. And I was just like, what the hell? Because at that time I had no idea double bass even existed, you know. I was just like, I would go home, try to practice with one pedal, you know. I was just like, dude, how's he doing that? You know, so, and yeah. And I remember going to I did take drum lessons, but I was mainly like taught, you know, like jazz and like just like funk and jazz and like, you know, like I did a lot of like concert band stuff too, you know, symphonic band and stuff like that. But yeah, my drum teacher was just like, oh, he's like, dude, he's using a double pedal. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And he's just like, I can't teach you that, man. And then, you know, I basically like from Living Sacrifice, it just got more extreme, you know. Literally right after them, I found out about Nile, and then like Dying Fetus. You know, this is like in 1998, 99. So I'm like basically 12 years old, you know, listening to Dying Fetus and stuff, you know. And it was kind of tough because no one in my school listened to these bands, you know. And I was always like, dude, check this stuff out. Tell my friends, you know. And nobody is like, you know, really into it. But
at 12, yeah, so that's not a surprise, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like it just got like, but you know, I mean, it's like it just kind of like avalanched from there. Like, and a lot of people, you know, like a lot of people give me crap, like, you know, my buddy Jeff Huell, the bass player, he's always like, dude, Marco skipped over thrash, you know, like he didn't have like a Metallica or Slayer phase or anything. He was like, he went from like Michael Jackson to just like Dying Fetus, you know, like, you know, the next year type of thing. So yeah, it's kind of true. That's why I've always just been like about, you know, like finding the fastest, most like craziest shit I could find, you know. So that was just my passion.
How long did you take lessons for?
Yeah, no, I mean, I took, kind of a while. I want to say like 7 years or so.
Oh, wow.
Let me think, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I mean, like 5 years, That was like when, yeah.
You started playing shows when you were like 12 or 13.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. See, so I started, I mean, like I said, like we literally formed a band when I was 8 years old, but it was like, you know, fucking terror. It was like it's terrible for sure. It was just terrible. And then, yeah, when I was 12 and I was in middle school, you know, we started our a better band, and we were kind of playing like Limp Bizkit covers and stuff like that, like Korn and Limp Bizkit, because that's like who I could find to play, you know, heavier stuff. They were like Korn and stuff, and so it was a lot of fun. And then basically that band transferred more into like a punk band, you know, and we were just like basically covering MXPX songs and no effects. You know, this is like, you know, late 90s. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, we played a bunch of house shows and parties and stuff like that, you know, in middle school and in high school, you know. So
well, with that kind of background and the names you just gave, was there a drummer that made you want to play drums, or did you skip that shit?
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, it was like, the beginning, basically the first drummer I heard that was like, I was like, holy shit, this is fast. I love this. Was, you know, it was like punk stuff like MXPX, that drummer Yuri, and they're still going, which is like insane to me. I think it's so awesome. It's the same band members and everything. I mean, I feel like they've been a band for at least 30 years now, you know, and yeah, it's just like, he was a big influence, because I remember the first time I heard, you know, it just the punk beat, you know, I was like, holy shit. I was like, dude, this is what I want to do. Yeah.
All right. Well, Marco currently in 6 Feet Under and Waking in the Cadaver, but most of the people watching may know him from other bands like Anomalous, which I believe you're still the only drummer to ever record with that band, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
The Faceless, Brain Drill, Vital Remains, Vile, and a ton more. I mean, how many hundreds of albums you've done. But cool, thank you for that, man.
Hell yeah.
We'll get more back to what your current stuff is a little bit later on. We'll move on to Mr. Art Cruz here of Lamb of God. Recently, also from, I think you spent 4 years with Prong and like 9 years with Winds of Plague, if I'm not mistaken. Is that close?
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Right on. So we'll let go ahead and give us the same kind of thing, like going back and where it come from and what inspired.
It's interesting because I mean I grew up in Southern California. I'm a Mexican American kid, so like metal did not come into my life until like extremely late. I was probably like 16 years old when metal was introduced to me, which is kind of interesting. But I think when I first, as far back as I can remember, it was clearly just culture, man. The East LA like culture in LA was a mixture of like Mexican mariachi music, along with like a ton of Carlos Santana and like a lot of those East LA like Chicano rock bands, a lot of funk because I was in California. And my uncle actually had a band. He still has a band that just did like weddings and covers and stuff like that. And they were like the wedding band. And every party that you ever went to in town or for the family, like they were playing, had a big horn section. So there was a lot of between the Mexican culture and like funk and like horn section type music. That was my introduction into like seeing music live and hearing it around the house. So like to come from that into playing with Lamb of God, it's kind of like sometimes that's like, what? Like that makes no sense. And I think based on the way that I kind of play drums now, it's really inspired by that. At least I try to introduce that into my playing. But a lot of bands from like anything from like Tower Power, Average White Band, Commodores, and again, like even when I started to get older, a lot of the backyard parties and backyard events and household culture situations that we'd get ourselves into as a family, it had a lot of freestyle music, which, I mean, if y'all are familiar with freestyle music, I'm actually still obsessed with it. Like if I can have a DJ gig, I would just play freestyle. Matt has actually experienced my DJ in the Lamb of God boat last year. But
rocking.
A lot of freestyle, like Lisa and Robin S. and like a lot of these groups like that. But that was mainly my childhood with introduction into music. As far as drums go, honestly, Santana was like the number one source for the sound of the drums. And I was like, when the first time I heard a conga drum and shakers and bongos and fucking maracas and like the entire Afro-Cuban movement of like drumming and tribal stuff, it really moved me and it kind of stuck with me as a kid. And I kind of took that with me. And as I got older, I was never into playing drums until probably I was like 15 or 16 years old. So that was like my first introduction. So I just wanted to play a conga. So all I had was a conga for a long time before I had a drum set. And sure enough, as you go to school, you meet people and you got people that are playing music and things like that. And I had a neighbor that had a drum kit and I never had seen one really in person. And I finally got a chance to see one and I was fucking obsessed. Like not at necessarily like, it was more like just the looks of a drum kit. I was like, there's so much shit going on here. Like I had an obsessive mind with trying to figure out what the hell is going on and what all these different parts and shit. So that's how my brain worked back then. But I used to go over to his house and just play his drum kit all the time. And I got okay to a point to where I can tell my parents like, yo, I want to play drums just like you, Marco. Yeah. And thankfully with the support of my parents, like again, growing up in East LA, we didn't have a ton of money and it was difficult for us to get me anything like that. So I had to beg, I had to talk about all of this stuff and convince my parents to do it. So finally got my kit. And again, as you go into school, you start to be introduced and exposed to a lot of different inspirational things and music and things like that. So clearly Green Day was a huge thing at that time. They were already huge, but the Dookie record totally convinced me I needed to play faster. And Chili Peppers, who I just saw last night, fucking unbelievable. Rage Against the Machine. And again, with my childhood, a lot of rap, Marco. I was right there with you. Yeah, West Coast gangster rap is literally to the day I die, I'm still obsessed with it. Like I don't strictly listen to West Coast gangster rap, but if I'm listening to rap, it's usually something from the 90s or the early 2000s. Cypress Hill, Dre, Snoop, Cube, like you name it. You know what I'm saying? there's a lot of percussive elements to those songs, and musically, all kind of intertwined with the funk and the G-funk, if you will. All that shit kind of came into play with all these inspirations, right? So everybody's like, yo, where's the metal coming? So again, I'm playing bands, I'm meeting people, and I'm going to shows. And this is funny, Navene and Marco, I actually went to go see both of y'all play. When you were in Animosity, Navene, and then you were playing in the Faceless, Marco.
Yeah.
And I was selling merch for a band called Antagonist, and I'm sure that rings a
bell.
Oh,
yeah.
Some of you, I don't think you guys even know that, but I've never told y'all that before. But I used to just hang around with the Antagonist guys and
okay.
And we'd jump on and we'd see your guys' shows, and we'd jump on your guys' tours and all kinds of shit like that, right? So this was early exposure to metal for me. Like I knew that I felt that I didn't fit in, so I wanted something to fit in. So I started hanging out with all these people and listening to music like this. And then I met my first bass player in high school in my junior year. And this was like early when I say early, Matt, I'm looking at you. We had the early hard drives. We didn't have we weren't passing CDs or tapes around. You feel me?
Yeah.
but the reality of it was he gave me this huge. I mean, the external hard drives were massive back then. He gave me an external hard drive. He's like, just listen to all this. And I spent hours and hours and days and months listening to everything. And
nice.
Of course, he gave me the cues, listen to your Slayer, listen to this. But he was a really technical bass player. So he introduced me to Dream Theater. Dream Theater pivoted my entire direction of how I proceeded to learn how to play drums, watching Mike Portnoy do shit. But extreme still hasn't hit, and he's still trying to level me up into pushing me into extreme metal. And so, of course, Slayer and all these thrash bands. And then we start our band, and we're doing thrash metal. We're trying to be a progressive thrash metal band in high school. It didn't really seem to work out, but it was an experience that I cherish, and it introduced me to a lot of friends, like the guys in that band Antagonist, and they were listening to the Faceless. They were listening to Vital Remains. They were listening to all kinds of stuff like that. And that's when I joined Winds of Plague, was a couple of years after that, just from hanging out, man, just constantly hanging out and just being the dude trying to make friends. And it kind of just all came together. And of course, Lamb of God was a very pivotal direction mover for me in the 2007 era when I was a junior in high school. And Ashes of the Wake came out and Sacrament came out, and that was it kind of blended, in my humble opinion, everything that was actually inspiring. Groove, swag, riffs, incredible drumming clearly from Chris, and just very inspiring direction for me to be where I'm at now, which is weird that I'm playing for them, but super blessed and very lucky. But musically, I'm all over the fucking place, and from metal to funk to hip hop and West Coast gangster rap.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. While we're on the topic, I mean, what was it like getting into the band? How did you get hooked up with them? And what was the audition like?
As all of us at this table, this virtual table, can understand, the touring world is unlike anything that a lot of people will not experience. And that's like the blessing and the very much all the gratitude that I have with being involved with touring, period, no matter what level. I mean, I started as a merch guy and a drum tech, and I've done everything that you could have possibly imagined. So from Winds of Plague, which is the band that I was in for quite a while, we had toured with Lamb of God on the Rockstar Mayhem Fest. Matt, you were on that shit. It was a very pivotal tour for me. We became friends on that tour, and as y'all know, based on touring, you build lifelong friendships no matter what. Like if you talk to each other every day, or whether you see each other a year or two, 10 years later, there is memories that you'll remember forever. And we shared a lot of memories on that tour, me and Lamb of God. And I like to think that that was one of the unofficial auditions without even playing. They were watching me play every day. We were hanging out every day. And as y'all know, that's how quick it can happen. And that's what happened. Like it was extremely fast. And it was wake up to a phone call one day, and then I'm on tour with Slayer the next, and then I'm in the band recording a fucking record. So that's how this industry works. And for anybody watching, that's the shit. That's the real shit. You just got to get out and make friends everywhere and not be a fucking dick and just be friendly with everybody. Yeah.
Be around.
Just be there, man.
Be around.
Very cool. Very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. This is still cool to me like that because I obsessed over Marco for a long time and Navene, and I'm talking early shows and Matt, like obviously in the early 2000s, like fucking Hatebreed, like you know what I'm saying? So Winds of Plague was a Hatebreed ripoff band listening to Dimmy Borgir. Like we were like that's the reality of it. We were the band was confused, but it seemed to work for a while.
Nice. What up, Brett Batdorf and Chad? How you doing, sir? Another faceless drummer.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to you, Mr. Navene. Go ahead and give us the rundown of your upbringing and how it started.
Well, my dad's a drummer, so that's pretty much it, really. My dad played drums and had a drum set when I was growing up, and I never really seriously learned how to play the drums until I was like 11. He just asked me if I wanted to learn how to play a beat, and so he just taught me like how to do a really basic drum beat, and I would just practice a lot, and I really always liked music. Even when before I played drums, I would listen to like just whatever reggae or whatever, some stuff that my parents would listen to. And then let's see, but I always liked the first time I saw like something that was heavy on MTV or whatever, I don't really even know what it was. Maybe like Nirvana or 311 or Green Day, like everybody's talking about. Just like as soon as I saw or heard that type of stuff, like the stuff that my parents couldn't understand, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And then pretty much just progressively going harder and harder, kind of like Marco. I would say I was 10 when I started playing drums, and I had already been listening to Nirvana and Green Day and stuff like that, and so I would sort of try to play along to that type of stuff, but the technology wasn't really, I didn't have a way to do that at the time, so I would really just play by myself and kind of just make up my own beats and all that type of stuff. And then when I was 12, a friend of mine showed me the band Primus, and that's kind of like the first time I heard like a tight snare drum and just like that kind of drumming, like just the way those drums sound. And I was just totally obsessed with that, and still am. Like that's still how I try to make my drum sound. Like he has a China cymbal and a tight snare drum and kicks really punchy and all that stuff. And so that was just like imprinted onto me when I heard Tim Alexander, the first Primus drummer, play. And I pretty much just tried, like he became like my ultimate like favorite drummer ever. Just absolutely loved him. And I would learn how to play his beats and stuff like that. And then that same year when I was 12, I met my friend Chase Fraser, who was in Animosity with me, and we started jamming when I was 12. And my brother played in our first like little kind of, I guess you would call it like a local band. Like we were all really young. My brother played bass in the band, and my brother is also really close in age to me, and so we would always like listen to music together. So I always had him to like go back and forth. I could be like, oh, check this out, and check, we'd kind of trade music all the time. And then, I met my friend Chase, who I'm still really good friends with, and we were all just really close friends. And where we lived in Santa Cruz, in California, which is like kind of a smaller town, and just like all the kind of kids in our neighborhood would hang out at our house, and like we had a drum set and a bass and stuff like that, and we would just like listen to metal and, you know, just try to find the craziest metal. So I guess, let's see, when I was 15, I bought the Dying Fetus album, Destroy the Opposition, just because it looked cool and it was on Relapse.
Yeah.
I heard Nile, and Nile was on Relapse, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is probably good. And then, like, when I bought that, I was like, okay, this is what I need to, like, learn how to do, you know? Because I was already, like, trying to learn blast beats and stuff like that. And I don't even know if there was YouTube at the time. Like, I just kind of did it the way I thought they would do it, you know? Like, well, I can't go with one foot like that fast, so I'll just, like, do, you know, split the kicks and then do my hands fast. And yeah, that was pretty much like a huge life-changing moment for me, because I liked metal a lot, and I would go. Oh, here's another actually funny thing, is that my dad he worked at a company that made like vegetarian meat, like sausage. It was kind of like similar to, like, I don't know, whatever there is now, like that type of stuff. Anyway, this was like in the late 90s. And at the time, like, being vegan was like kind of big in the hardcore scene. So like all these hardcore dudes like worked at my dad's factory. And my brother and I would like go sometimes like during the summer, he would like hire us, you know, quote unquote, to like, you know, fold boxes or whatever and give us like $3 an hour. And
Yeah.
so I would hang out with all of these like hardcore guys. And so I played drums at the time, and one of the dudes actually had a drum set like at the warehouse. So like I would play it and they're like, oh, you know, he's actually like pretty good at drums. And then I kind of became friends with these older hardcore dudes, even though I was like, you know, I don't know how old I was, probably like 13 or 14. And so he would, one of them, his name is Don, and he was in this local band called Second Coming. And they're kind of a bigger local band. They're like, they're kind of like a big thing in the hardcore scene for the time. And so he started taking me and my brother to shows. Like, we went to shows at Gilman, and there was this other place called the Cocadree in San Francisco. And there was all these like underground hardcore venues. So like I would go to that, but I was already at the time like listening to death metal and stuff. So I was kind of like, I liked hardcore a lot. Like I was really into it, but like the drumming, I was like, man, no one's doing any like blast beats or like, you know, really fast shit.
Yeah.
I mean, so like when I heard Dying Fetus, I was like, dude, this is like fucking hardcore with like death metal.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I was like, this is perfect, you know, because I already knew about hardcore and death metal. And yeah, so then that's how I met Leo from Animosity. So they had Animosity before I was in the band. They like played a couple shows. They were like a high school band. And Leo's dad and my dad worked in the same building. A lot of these stories involve my dad. It's weird. But Leo's dad and my dad, they worked in the same building. So I kind of would we would run into each other sometimes. But Leo was like really punk, you know, and I never really got into punk. Like when he was younger, I was like more into hardcore and death metal and stuff. And anyway, so he started going to more hardcore shows, and I would see him there. And then he was like, oh yeah, this is my band, you know, Animosity. And like they had a demo with some of the early songs, like some of the songs that are there. You can probably find them on YouTube, but they were on our first like demo. And
nice.
I heard it and I was like, man, this is like so much better than my band, you know, like, cause it was pretty good. Like they had like pretty good riffs, and they were even younger than me. So I was just like, shit, this band is sick. And then I had just got my driver's license, and I was going to see Walls of Jericho at Gilman, and I was 16, and Undying played too. And I ran into Leo and the two dudes who were playing guitar at the time, Frank and Nick, and they were like telling me that they kind of were on the outs with their drummer or whatever. And I'm like, dude, you guys have to let me play drums for you guys. You know, like I can do this, man. And I took them into my car at the time, and I was like air drumming to Dying Fetus. And they're like, this guy's sick, man. You know?
That's sick, man. What the fuck?
Actually, I went and saw Dying Fetus on the Destroy the Opposition tour the next night.
It's a good thing you were a bass player doing the air bass might not have worked.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. But the drum, the air, you know, I'm like in there killing it, and they're like, damn, this dude's pretty crazy. And then I jammed with them like a few weeks, maybe a couple weeks later. And yeah, we just really hit it off, and they were like, you know, they were all impressed. Like we used to joke about it. They were super impressed. They were like, they couldn't believe that I had like a cymbal bag for like my cymbals. You know what I mean? They're all like, whoa, you know, like I had this cymbal bag like from the flea market. It was blue. I totally remember it. So yeah, we would jam all the, anyway, and that's how Animosity became a thing.
Wow.
And then obviously we like I was 16 and nobody else in the band had a driver's license. They were all younger than me. I was the oldest guy in the band. And so like we would actually I had like this super old Volkswagen Jetta, and we would go play shows out of town, like in Sacramento, which was like an hour and a half from San Francisco, but I lived in Santa Cruz. So I would drive an hour and a half every weekend, and I would hang out with them the whole weekend, and we would jam and just like, you know, get into mischief and stuff. We would sometimes go play shows in like Sacramento, and like we would it was four of us, so it would be me. My brother was actually in Animosity too in the very beginning, because they were like the guitar player, the bass player Nick was like, oh, I'm going to play guitar, and then we're like, let's get your brother to play bass. You know, they didn't even know if he could play bass or not. It was just, you know, like back in the day, it was just like that's who wound up in the band. It was just the people that were hanging.
Yeah,
like, get him in there, and then we would sit. Like, I would drive, and then one person would sit shotgun, and then two people in the back, and we would put a guitar cab in between the two people in the back, and then we put another cab in the trunk, and then we would line all the drums around the shit in the trunk, and then whoever sat in the front had to hold the bass drum. And we would fucking go play shows like all over the Bay Area, like, dude. And it was actually way sick. It was amazing.
I was gonna say, Navene, I remember seeing you at the Pound in like 2002. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I was like, damn, bro. I was just thinking about that. How, you guys must have been, you're like 16 or something.
Yeah, dude. I remember seeing you around that time at the time, because you had like a video on YouTube of you like playing death metal. Right. And I didn't know death metal drummers that were like my age.
Right.
I think Chase was like, dude, there's a kid in Los Gatos can play death metal, man. And we were watching it, we were like, oh my god, dude, because you could do blast beats.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
it was amazing.
That's funny, though, bro.
I remember seeing you at that show, and I was like,
yeah. So, I remember that, the Pound, bro, the Pound. Yeah.
And I was like, dude, we got a jam or something sometime.
Yeah. That's sick.
But yeah, we used to play at the Pound all the time, and then Leo's brother was like my age or like a little bit older, so he had a license too once he got his shit. So we had the two cars, and then we went to LA and played a show. And I mean, fuck, I don't know how long you want me to go for. I could seriously talk forever, but
it's up to you guys.
Basically, Animosity, long story short, Animosity ends in 2008, and then I had like 1 year where I just kind of like did my own thing, and I made like this solo death metal album like by myself with Johnny Davey on vocals called Flesh Rot. And then so that was like Animosity ends in November 2008. I make that Flesh Rot album, and then November 2009 I joined Animals as leaders, and then I was with them for a couple of years, and then kind of wanted to not be in a band for a while. I was like, I had been in like a touring metal band ever since I was 16, and then I was like, I don't know, 24 or 25, and I was like, man, I kind of want to just see what life's like without doing all this. And I was way into producing and like making electronic music and shit. And then after a couple of years of doing that, I'm like, all right, this is stupid. You know, like being a normal person sucks and metal rules.
So I took a break like that too.
Yeah.
I took a break like that too. That shit. I bet you when you came back though, it was better than when you left. Like
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can definitely like. I appreciate way more things now than when I was in my previous bands. You know, because it's really easy to take everything for granted. Like when I don't know, just being in being in a touring band when you're like literally 18, you know, and you're like getting all these tours and people like your, you know, people are starting to like your band. You're just kind of like, oh, whatever, you know, you just kind of assume that's how it's supposed to be. You know? But then when you're older, you're like, okay, actually, you know, people don't have to like your band. You know, they could not like it, and you know, you know, you start to when you do it all over again, you're like, okay, like I'm gonna appreciate it this time. You know, so
there's a couple of things I got to jump in here and say. Thank you for that, Navene. Tommy McKinnon is in chat, which is really strange. Tommy's been texting me. He's working on a new video, and if you remember, Tommy, he was in a band Neuraxis. You know, quite a while back from Canada. He's an incredible drummer.
Animosity opened for that band one time.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, at the Pound.
There he is. Thanks for joining us, Tommy, man. I'll talk to you soon. I also want to say hi to my old guitar player, George Esch, who's in chat. We were in a band together for 8 years.
Nice.
He's there chilling. There's another Love Neuraxis and Augury. Oh, Anton's on here. Fucking what's up, Anton? Anton's my partner.
Yeah.
DM.
Anton.
Oh,
sure. If you don't all know him, maybe you'll meet him someday, but he's been around.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, shit, I've known you guys for so long. There's like...
yeah, since Animosity. I saw you play with Animosity.
Yeah,
which is another one of the things I wanted to say, and this is not to make anybody else uncomfortable or less than another drummer, but in my experience, there's only been a few guys in my life where I've watched them and they become part of the kit when they play, and you are fucking one of them.
Thanks, man.
The other one, there's only two more, really, Jason and Elliot Hoffman. And again, that's not to take away from any other drummer at all, but there's just something different about you, man.
There's a lot of really good.
Yeah, there are, but I just had to say that, and I'm sorry to say it in front of other people, but you,
thank you, man. Thank you.
You're fucking unbelievable, brother.
Actually, you know, what's funny is the first like video I ever made was because Leo, the singer of Animosity, he was like, "Oh, these people they have this thing called Sick Drummer, and they want you to make like a playthrough video, you know." And I'm like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, oh, you like play through a song and like I'll record it, you know? And I'm like, that is so stupid. Doing that? Are you kidding me? Why would anybody, you know, like, I was like so out of it to not do that at the time, because it's like I've been playing drums and like been able to record myself. Like I could have had the most hype YouTube channel of all time. You know what I mean?
Dude,
but
I was gonna say,
like, I'm not doing that shit. It's fucking stupid, you know?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I can actually totally relate with you with that, bro. I mean, because even with me, I'm like, even that Vornegar video. I remember I'd made that video, and I didn't even have a YouTube channel. I just like sent it to people. I was like, post this if you want. I don't know. Like I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't give a fuck. And then so other people posted it for me, basically, you know.
Exactly.
And I'm like, fuck, I should have done that, you know.
I blew it so hard, man. I was like just way off on that one. Like I was at the right place at the right time and just didn't even think of it. I was just like,
right.
Like I remember I saw some drummers who had like tons of videos on their YouTube, you know, and I remember it was weird. You know, I'm like, why wouldn't you just go play shows? Like, why are you doing these videos?
Yeah.
And so, but that video, actually, I'm glad that you guys made me do it, because it's cool that I have a video from that time. That's like one of the only ones that I actually have.
It was awful audio too, but it's great to have. Yes. Were you guys on Price is Right, or was that somebody else I'm thinking of?
We went to Price is Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that shit. That's classic, bro.
All right, let's. Matt Byrne just texted me and said, "Tell these fuckers to shut up. I want to speak." All right. So Matt, let's hear your.
I'm enjoying all the stories. Actually, I'm just sitting back listening.
I know. I'm just kidding. It's your turn, sir. You are in the spotlight.
I'm in the spotlight. All right. Let's see. Started playing drums about 13, 14. I tried guitar first. Wasn't good at it. Just was not good at it. My uncle, my mother's younger brother, was a drummer. Is a drummer, still is. And he had an old drum set of his too. And he said, hey, look, you know, you want to play something, getting into music and stuff. That's great. You don't like guitar? give drums a try. Take some lessons, and if you end up liking it, I have a drum set here. I'm not just going to give it to you to bang on and make noise. Like if you take to it, I'll give you the kit, and then you're off to the races, and there you go. So it's basically what I did. He gave me, the first thing he gave me was this old like practice pad block, which was those old like slanted blocks with a piece of rubber on it, really old. Just had a piece of rubber, and you rat-a-tat-tat, and he had like drawn all over it and stuff. So that's what I started out with. I picked up a set of sticks and started romping on it, and I dug it. So I started taking lessons from a local spot here in the Poughkeepsie area, Dal's Music Center. And it was a little like mom and pop music store. And I hooked up with the teacher. It was really great, and I really liked his lesson style because it was a half an hour lesson, 15 minutes. First 15 minutes was like bookwork, how to read, basics of rudiments and like, the notation and stuff like that. And the second half of the lesson would be I could bring in a song, anything I wanted, and he would kind of feel me through it or write it out too. So you're getting the best of both worlds, learning the music that I liked, but also the bookwork stuff. So yeah, it just really took to it. I think his teaching style was a big part of it because it was easy to digest. And I took lessons from him for about 4 years, and jamming with guys in high school at the time too, friends, come over to the house, or I'd lug my little drum set over to their house, and we jam on weekends and stuff like that. And that was it, man. My parents, coming up, they were into doo-wop and stuff, so I was exposed to a lot of the 60s stuff. My father was into Creedence. My mother was huge. My other side of the family was huge Beatles. So everything was Beatles. She saw the Beatles at Carnegie Hall, My grandfather took her, so it was just Beatles, Beatles, Beatles. And then everything that stemmed off from there. And then, you have the cousin that introduces you to Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and then Iron Maiden. And then from there, friends at school, then it was just full on thrash, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Exodus, Testament, Sepultura, got turned on to Dark Angel. From there came death metal, Cannibal Corpse, Answer, and everything just got faster and faster. So it went from pedal to, oh my God, what is that thing? I need 2 kick drums. Oh, I can't have 2 kick drums. Damn, I don't have enough room. All right, give me the double pedal. So, I had one of the TAMA Camco pedals and with the big felt beaters on it. And everything was speed and metal. That was it, rock and metal. And then as I progressed through drum lessons, I took lessons 4 years or so. And I remember one day my teacher was like, cool, we're learning this and everything from Def Leppard all the way up to Metallica. Let me turn you on to something. He had Power, his favorite guy, Garibaldi. He's like, I don't know if I can do this shit, but let's check it out. Oh, yeah, I've heard of I know James Brown and all that stuff. He's like, yeah, kind of in the same wheelhouse. So it was kind of opening up another door. Once I heard Tower of Power, that was it. I was full on funk mode. And it was all ghost notes. And what do you mean? He's doing a paradiddle in the beat? What is that? Like how to translate things around the kit and not just make, everything, not have everything be heavy. It was more finesse at that point and kind of like drawing sounds out of the drum and learning how to tune the drum differently to draw different sounds, going tight, going loose, whatever. So I went through my phase of just everything was just funky and like more quiet beats and just like real just pocket type stuff. That type of stuff. Anything that had a really big, deep backbeat. With a lot, whatever he's doing, the more I saw the sticks moving, I'm like, yeah, but what is that? You almost don't hear it. I got to figure out what he's doing there, And then from there, that morphed into the more like mathcore type stuff because I was still into heavy stuff. And then it was like, what's this band Coalesce? And then that was boom, blow the doors off into another realm of Coalesce and Converge and Dead Guy and bands like that. So a lot of off time stuff, but still keeping heavy. And just playing a lot locally and whatnot, and playing with anybody I could, and being in different bands of different styles, and just kind of soaking it all in, and as well as just putting a lot of time in the basement. And had the opportunity, and it was '98 friend of a friend introduced me to the guys in Hatebreed. They needed a drummer at the time. They were had a lot of fill-in drummers. They had just put out the Victory album, Satisfaction is the Death of Desire. And they were touring in a van and trailer, station wagon and trailer, whatever it took. And it was the next step for me. Oh, my God. At the same time, I was going to college. I was going to school to be a teacher, special ed, elementary ed, dual certification. And I was almost to the end. And met up with the guys. And that was it. I actually auditioned. It was me and the drummer from Internal Bleeding, Bill Tolley, who has since passed away.
Rest in peace, Bill.
Yeah, great guy. We actually auditioned at the same time. We showed up to the studio in Bridgeport and was like, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, I'm jamming with." "Yeah, me too." "All right." So he sat over there. I sat over there while he played, and then he sat over there while I played, and jamming with the guys, and it was just kind of like, all right,
rough.
Yo, what the fuck? Hold on a second.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, you go.
Yeah. It was the craziest thing. I mean, definitely not a band known for its organization or things happening as you would think they would happen, whatever. I had the guys, we went on tour, and there you go. No, it was really a trial by fire, and it was cool for him too. And I had played with them locally when they came through town, but I didn't really know, him at all. So yeah, and that was it. All right, we'll call you. And then the next day it was like, all right, man, you're in the band. We're going on tour. We got an East Coast tour. We're going to Canada, So I was like, wow, van and trailer experience. Here we go. That was my first delve into that. And I was in the band for about a year, and it was crazy. It was wild. Just a lot happening all at once. I had left school. I said, okay. I got up to my student teaching, and I said I was going to SUNY Plattsburgh, right upstate New York here, up near Canada. And I said I can go to school anytime, and I convinced my folks and my family that I wasn't crazy, and this was actually a good experience. And I had my uncle, the drummer, backing me up, like, you got to let him do this. The tour, let him go. Just let him go do it. If it screws up, if it doesn't work, school's there. It doesn't matter. You can go back to school.
Uncle.
Yeah, Uncle Russell. Thank you very much. 22 years old, hit the ground running, and it was crazy. I was in the band for a year. It was wild, man. Rowdy. It was just all the stories that you could think of happened, and crazy. And but at the same time, a little bit of rowdiness that was more than I could take as a newcomer, and a little irresponsibility. It just wasn't the picture that I thought it would be at the time. So I was like, maybe this isn't the band for me. I had my experience with it. Thanks, guys. I don't think we really click. So I bailed. I quit. And I was like, there was. I'm going to go back to school. So it was like 99. And had plans of going back to school, get my special ed degree in a band from around here called All Out War. They're also on Victory Records. Came up with those guys. They were a local band around here forever, and then they were making their bones and everything. And they needed a drummer at the time. So here I am trying to go back to school, and I can't. Here's another chance.
Yeah.
Go on tour.
Russell, get back over here.
Yeah, wait a second, man. Come on. Van and trailer, let's do it. And we were doing US tour with Cro-Mags and Shutdown from New York City.
Okay, I remember that band. Yeah.
Great guys, still around. All of us are still around, right? Here we are, man. We made our bones. It feels like so long ago, and it is really long ago, but at the same time, it feels like, I can recount everything like it happened a week ago.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Nice.
So New York, I know you're close friends with Corey Pearson and Jason Bittner as well, because you guys kind of live together and see each other when you're home once in a while. I texted Jason earlier to tell him you're going to be on the show, and he sent me this. All right, we'll do that again. It's so fast. That's actually from a NAMM years back when we were standing behind Lombardo and he was playing Angel of Death. And I kept it as a clip and I throw it in here from time to time.
That's funny.
But,
All my favorite drummers are those guys too, like Lombardo, Benanti, Igor Cavalera. I mean, those are the guys that I listened to and learned to play fast. The thrash thing, I was like, I got to be able to do that. The polka thrash beat, you know, working up to that. And then as you got into, when I was turned on to death metal, I was like, whoa. And then the blasting and the different versions of blasting and stuff, and getting more and more extreme, but always obsessed with like, oh my God, how much faster can you go? You know?
Lord
Yeah.
Mark.
Wait 5 more years.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so here, All Out War for a while, and then that kind of went its way. And Mike, the singer, he's a high school teacher. He's close to retirement now, actually. That's how many years ago it was. He's going to be retiring. All Out War is still a great band, still going. So I had some time with them, and then here I am again. I'm going to go, that fizzled out. Okay, I'm going to go back to school. I had some great times on the road with all these different experiences. And Club Coquetry, man. Oh, my God. I played there in 99. What a spot. I remember that spot very, very well. Very well. I don't know if we ever – where did we play?
Matt Thompson and Peter Waldo are also teachers.
Oh, yeah? I made it all the way up to the student teaching, and I cashed out my degree because I had my credits, but I can't say I'm a teacher. I can't say I ever got my teaching degree. I never fully finished it. I did first part of student teaching. It's one of the things like I wish I would have done it, but you know what? I don't think I wouldn't trade this life for anything, especially being a teacher now. I give them all the credit. This would have happened in 98. I would have been a teacher for this long. My life would have been very different. My mental state would be very different.
Yeah, my
That was
wife's
an
a teacher. I
experience.
know what you're talking about.
On both sides. Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are teachers that I keep in touch with, and Mike Score from All Out War being one of them. And all the stories are crazy, man. And they just get crazier year after year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that dude that I was telling you about, Don, who was in that band Second Coming, he's actually a teacher as well.
Oh, really? High school?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I was going to do the special. It was a dual certification at the time. It was K through 12 special ed, K through 6 elementary ed. And I know New York State doesn't offer the degree anymore. They've since broken it up into secondary ed and all this stuff. At the time, the marketability was insane for being a male teacher and having that type of degree.
Yeah.
You know, in the late 90s, I would have gotten a job like that.
That's part of the reason that you'll see King Diamond tour in the summertime mostly, and that's it. It's because Matt's a teacher. Well, he still is, but for a long time he was. Same thing with Barcane and Peter, same thing.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a very hard profession. Like I said, especially now. I mean, I give them all the credit in the world. My mother was a teacher. She was Spanish and French middle school. And I tell the story all the time. Me and my sister, I have a younger sister, 2 years younger than me. Growing up, my mother having to go to school. And I remember how I was in middle school. Middle school is that weird time. You're just an asshole. You're an asshole kid. You're not like the sweet little young kid. And you're not the, all right, I know a little more about life, high school kid. You're just that middle purgatory asshole kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how did you go to school to work and you have to teach all these kids like secondary language? They don't even care. And then come to us and then have to deal with us. Like, you never got any time off. So all the credit in the world to all the teachers.
You would have been great.
I don't know how they do it.
You would have been great. Look at these assholes.
I appreciate that.
Let's take our first break here. If anybody got to get up and use the facility or whatever, we're gonna play a song here. Talk about going from the wagons and the vans with the trailers to a big stage. We're gonna play a song called "Laid to Rest" with Art Cruz and Lamb of God. We'll be back in 408. See you in a second.
Let's get this place really moving. Simply something it is called.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Tired.
So real
That
quick,
sounds really good.
Yeah.
No, thanks.
Hopefully that one last.
That shit, that snare. I've been with Ludwig for like since I guess 5 years now. Ludwig shit is just underrated, man. I'm not gonna get into a convo about it, but I believe in it. It's I play the Oaks, the classic Oaks, and that snare's a brass phonic. It's like a raw brass. Dude, Evans hybrid head, so I hit pretty hard, so it seems to stay consistent the whole time. So thank you all very much for watching.
That's why it sounds good, because you hit it hard.
Yeah, you have to hit the shit hard. You have to hit the
Can you walk us through a typical day on a U.S. tour with them, guys?
Yeah, I can walk you through my first show with them and the difference from like coming from sleeping in the crevice of the van and where the door slides out, like in the van.
Sure, whatever, man.
I mean, a typical day is, I mean, it took me a while to kind of get to the point to where I'm at. When I first jumped in, I was still like super green to that level of things. I mean, this is some shit that obviously we all kind of dream up to even be on a stage like that, let alone a band that I grew up listening to and admiring for a very long time. And I still do. But typically, I mean, like I said, it took me a long time to get to this point to where I started to kind of pay attention to my body, my health, and extracurricular activities on the road, you name it. Like it took me a long time to get through all of those trials and errors and things like that. So a typical day now is extremely boring, and it's a good thing for me. I'm a sober guy. I've been sober like a year and a half, and I think where I'm at mentally, spiritually, and with my career and how serious I take it. Not that I didn't take it serious before, but I was very just new to that level of things, and a lot of shiny things pop up. You know what I mean? So it's just, I tend to keep a really easy routine on tour. I try and prep now for tours, warm up, which is something that I'm going to change. I've been saying this for a long time, like I don't warm up, more for the mental aspect. I didn't warm up because I tried for a tour, and I did this thing to where I would be like, I'm going to work on this part that I've been struggling with on a practice kit or a pad or whatever. It would get so psychologically in my head, and it wouldn't communicate, it wouldn't transmit the information to like my legs, or like I just start to overthink everything and overanalyze my playing. And what I would do is I would take my practice or my rehearsal or my warm-ups, and I would just carry all that shit with me right onto the stage, and I would do it worse. So early on in the early lamb years, I was not warming up because I thought it fucked me up. And I was like, I'm not doing this. Like I'm too in my head. And that actually worked mentally, because then I wasn't even thinking about it. I'd just go up, I'd stretch and stuff lightly, and then go cold. Very Gene Hoglan, you know what I mean? Just, I'm just gonna stretch my hands here, you know, do the thing. And I kind of took his inspiration. Like he just does these basic stretches, right? And I'm like, damn, fucking Gene Hoglan can do it, then I can do it. And it worked for a while. But that also doesn't work with substance and alcohol abuse. So that's the reality of it. And I had to really change everything completely from the ground up. And that's something that I'm doing, and something that I'm looking forward to actually continuing to make adjustments in the daily. But like a daily routine for me is super basic. Everything is pretty dialed. Naps are fucking crucial to me. God, I love a power nap more than anything. Didn't have the luxury of having a place to nap all the time when I was in vans with like winds and like doing things like that, or sleeping on random people's cat-infested floors. But there was a meal, there was somewhere to sleep and shower. So it took a minute to adjust, but now it's very thankful to be at the significant level that I'm at. And like without those experiences coming up and working and being a drum tech and whatever it was that I was trying to do, I wouldn't have had those practices embedded in my mind. And now it's just really easy. Like I said, it's just a lot easier for me now with where I'm at in my life and paying attention to my body. And now I'm stretching a lot, and I'm doing a lot of mobility workouts before I play, which is something I didn't think I was going to ever do. I'm actually working out before I play rather than playing. So I'm still not playing, but I'm getting my body like to a place of where I'm waking shit up and not just going in cold. You know what I mean? So that's a really easy thing to do once you get your life together. So it's gotten a lot easier, I will say. And I'm just super grateful to be doing this on that level, because obviously when I first came into the gig, I was playing with Prong and we were doing vans, you know what I mean? I was driving, and before I joined Prong and when I left Winds of Plague, I was actually I took a year off because I was like, I don't think I could do this anymore. And clearly, Navene, you know how that fucking feels, and you're just like, nah, dude, I need to do this shit. So that's what happened. And I was a driver. I was taking any gig I could take to get into the scene, back into it. So I was a driver for Prong. And then when I joined Prong, I was on a tour as their driver. And there was a beef between Alexi and the drummer, Alexi Rodriguez, and Tommy that I had no idea what was even happening. Who knows what their beef was, but there was something, and he went home. And that was my first introduction to that band. And I just woke up and did it. But that's something along the lines of continuing to go up and down in this music industry thing. And showing up to my first Lamb of God gig, we're playing in Boston, or excuse me, Maine. And this isn't like every tour or every show. It doesn't always happen, but we're on tour with Slayer. I guess the show was sold out. So when you sell it out, they give you better things, Matt. All you guys can understand, if you sell tickets, like clearly you're eating a bit better that night for some reason. That makes sense. But they pull out like full blown lobsters. And again, like coming from where I was coming from, I'm like, there's no fucking way this is real. Like, of course, the Lamb guys, we had been friends for a long time, so they already knew how to bust my balls, and I'm the fucking new guy, so they're gonna bust my balls, right? They're like, yeah, this is what it's like, man. You know, you've been missing out or whatever, and clearly it was just because that show in particular, location, the bill, it worked out perfectly. But I was mind blown to where how everything kind of changes, and the littlest things like Marco and Navene and Matt both all y'all said is you really pay attention to all the things that you didn't give a fuck back then, to when you go back to it, you start to realize, whoa, like this is actually a big deal. Like for me, the thing I love the most is laundry. Like that's a big deal. Like I used to hang our laundry out of the back window of the van and clamp it so that way it can flap in the air and dry. You know what I mean? But like to get laundry done, as simple as that may be, like these are things that blow my mind. You know what I mean? But they help all of us do what we have to do. And the guys in my band are in their 50s. You know what I mean? They're Willie's pushing 50, Randy's 53, Mark's 50, like they're up there. So, and they've been doing this for almost 30 years, and simple routines is what we do now. It's super simple. Like we rarely have a lot of guests. Matt, I mean, you did the tour with us. I mean, we're not, it's not like it used to be. And that's not for anybody to say that's not fun, and all that stuff was fun, and we had a blast, and I had a blast back in the day. But now a day in the Lamb of God gig is extremely simple, and you know, personal life is everything to me. I love being at home now. You know what I mean? But again, stepping away from the drums and then going back to them, holy shit! It's literally the sexiest thing ever. It's the most. Oh my god! It feels so much better. Like. Even with practicing, like I practice a lot, but it's like I step away. So it's all mental.
Now the lobster comment I saw earlier makes sense. I was like, what is this person talking about? But they must know you. So also, thanks for taking a couple minutes. I think it was February when I saw you in Toronto when I come up to see you in the Pantera reunion show. So thanks for coming down to the stadium.
I didn't think you'd remember me, to be honest with you.
No, and I remember we had said, because you walked in the room and you crushed me because it was hilarious. I'm standing there with my buddy Anthony Zakari, who's in chat, and I'm waiting for Charlie Benante to show up, and I was hoping Art would show up, and He walks in. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm Ian from Sick Jar Magazine. He's like, yeah, you never fucking featured me, man. It was first thing out of his mouth. And I'm like, yes, we did. Yes, we did. He's like, no, man, you didn't. And I was right. We did. We filmed you at Maryland Death Fest with Prong.
Holy shit.
The whole set. I couldn't fucking. I was looking on my YouTube, but it's on the Facebook. So
I'm a great ball buster, man. But
it was hilarious. I laughed about that the whole way home. After I stopped in, I stopped at Lakeside Park on the way back to New York to see the Neil Peart Pavilion and the house he grew up in. And I did the whole personal Ian Day selfies outside of his house like a dick, you know. But thanks for coming down to say hi, man.
Dude, no, thanks. I'm glad that we can do this. I mean, like, it's again, all these drummers mean something to me, whether they like it or not. They do. They have a very big impact in my career and where I've come from and my upbringing. And I've toured with Matt like a ton of times, like between Winds of Plague tour with Hatebreed, Lamb of God doing the Hatebreed stuff, but even just me being the hangout dude after Winds of Plague and shit like that, dude. So all these drummers are very mad inspiring to me. So it's when you told me who was going to be in this thing, I was like, I'm fucking in. I'm totally in. This makes sense. So thank you again.
No, you're welcome. Navene, what do you do before a show to warm up, or do you not, Navene? And then after this, we'll play a song from you.
I'm definitely guilty of like, I'll just stop whatever I'm doing and just go on stage. But every tour I'm like, all right, I'm bringing the practice pads. I'm gonna fucking warm up for 30 minutes, and I end up just putting the practice pads in a box deep in the trailer and never using them. And I've already been thinking about that. We're leaving on tour in a couple days, and I'm already thinking like bringing the practice rig. I'm gonna practice and stuff, but we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of like Art. I mean, I think I'm in between. I'm pretty boring, and then every once in a while we'll party and have fun. But I also like to work out and kind of try to be healthy on tour. And that's pretty much my thing. Because you're already so compromised with you're sleeping and you don't get to eat the best food all the time. So I've lately been kind of dialing it down on the shenanigans. But it's not to say that some nights don't like cut loose and get crazy, but a little more selective, I guess.
Do you at least get lobster mac and cheese?
Yeah, get some lobster mac and cheese, stuff like that. Having lobsters, works. Yeah.
All right, well,
it's not really my thing anyway, so.
Let's play a little bit of your handiwork. This is a song called Primal by your band Entheos. We'll see you guys. And this is not a newer video, but it's one that we own, so I don't have to worry about any rights or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When we first started, by the way. This is and
you've come a long way, and your new record is outstanding, by the way.
Cool.
So, yeah. Here's some Navene handiwork for you guys. It's 4:31 in length. We'll see you in a few.
Thanks, guys. How many of you guys have picked up the EP that we just put out? It's called Primal. All right, a few of you. If not, go pick that shit up at our merch table after our set. We're gonna play the title track off of that EP right now, and if you know it, it has some bouncy ass parts in it, so move the room. All right? Get down to the groove.
Those fills are fucked up, bro.
Ridiculous is what I like to say, like Sarsipius said on the Infectious Grooves record. This shit is ridiculous.
Just
That
nasty.
was impressive as all hell, Navene.
Oh shit, thanks, man.
That was like 10 years ago or 5, whatever it was.
That was the first iteration of our band. It was actually cool to watch that. I haven't seen that probably since it came out.
Dope.
Ace of Spades too. That's a great club, man. Looks
Yeah.
like it was
No,
packed.
man.
Yeah,
What tour was that? Was that the other one?
Hi, Cheney.
yeah. Chaney's in the background. She's
Yeah.
we were watching the video together, and she was like, "Oh no, is this bad?" Like,
Well, because she's right there in the background, we can all on the count of 3 say congratulations, right? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations.
Congrats.
thanks, guys. Yeah. Yeah, 2015. Yeah, 9 years ago. That's great, man. I was happy to watch that. That was cool.
It's dope.
That's cool.
All right. Marco, what about you? Do you practice before? I know you're practicing right now. He used to stream on Twitch quite a bit, then he slowed down. Now he's back, and he's on Twitch TV.
Yeah,
and he's doing some run-throughs of the Wake and the Cadaver set, which we'll talk about at the end. But aside from that, because you guys have never really met each other, when you do get on the tour, what's your practice regimen like on the tour? And then we'll play from you.
I mean, right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm kind of a lot like how Art is now, but I will say in the past, when I first started, touring and whatnot, 19 to 20, 21, basically I was all about warming up, like pretty much, basically I would play the entire set backstage on the practice pad, and that's how I'd warm up. I would just play the whole set myself. And then, all right, I'm ready to go. and I mean, that was really awesome and all, but now, I don't know, in the last basically 10 years, I would say 10 years, I definitely have chilled out with that. It's kind of like I don't even want to warm up now, because then my problem is then I'll play everything way too fast. So because then it's like I get all the energy and all the nerves, everything's hitting me. So I'll play much faster, and to keep me from playing too fast with 6 feet under and even waking, it's I don't warm up at all. So I just go right in cold turkey into this, into the set. Yeah. usually nowadays, with waking too, before a show, I'll pretty much just listen to the set, an hour before we have to play, I'll just listen to the whole thing myself, and then just to be in the right headspace. Because even how with it is with Art, I used to do the same thing where it's there's always be one little tricky part or something, that I'm overthinking way too much. And it's before the show, if I would just practice that one part all the time, it's then that's the whole show, I'm just focused on that part. It's a terrible way to live, because then it's it takes away from the show too, you're trying to perform and play your best, and then you're just over analyzing this one part, and so that's why it's now I definitely try to chill out with all that overthinking things. I'm just man, if I just go in and just jam it, even you're saying, when I just go jam it, how I do on the Twitch streams and stuff, I'll be fine. But if I'm sitting there fucking, overthinking everything, I'm oh my God, I'm going to fuck it up. so
when you get to the tour with Wake and the Cadaver, Bryce Butler told me a lot of times he'll just play the recorded studio version in his in-ears. So if anybody makes a mistake, he knows it's not him. Right. So are you going to, would you consider, or do you do something?
See, actually, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. I had no idea he did that, and I didn't even know anybody was doing that. So I mean, I actually we don't do in-ears at all or anything. We're just old school. I rely on the fucking monitor next to me. Yeah. That's always gonna sound like shit, but I just it's we just have to, everyone just has to that's why it's what I was saying on my live stream. It's everyone just has to practice on their own and be totally 100% in the songs, and then it's because even at some shows I can barely hear, I can barely hear the vocals or the guitar, even though it's just super muddy. And I'm just like, okay, this is why I practice, every day before the tour.
That's wild to me. I mean, there's a lot of bands now that don't use any wedges at all because they're all in-eared.
Yeah,
you guys are no in-ears and all wedges. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, and then that's the same with 6 Feet Under too. I mean, 6 Feet Under. It's crazy, man. I mean, I joined 6 Feet Under in 2013, and basically up until 2019, we were touring, 2 times every year, like twice a year, and yeah, I mean, it was like the same thing, just like old school, man. No in-ears, nothing. We're just like feeding off of each other, So,
like men.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I mean, I would totally love to have them like an in-ear, to have the in-ear monitors and stuff, but I don't know. I'm also like super ghetto, so.
Well, it's weird too because I mentioned Elliot Hoffman earlier, and I found out on the interview with him and Ken Schalk, which I had heard before but was never confirmed. Carbomb has never, ever, ever used the click track in the studio or live, and to me that's mind-blowing with the music they pull off. But they've been together as a unit for so long, I understand the OG aspect of that, but the trickery, it blows my mind how they don't ever click. I don't know.
I mean, that is crazy. Yeah, I mean, like, that's one thing. See, like, for me, for recordings, we, like, all these bands, me, 6 Feet Under, Waking, we all record to a click track. But we just don't use it live,
Okay.
So, yeah. But like, just because it's like, even with Waking, we all live in different like states, and so basically, it's like we just meet up to practice, like literally once or twice before the first show, and that's it, And that's why it's like we all gotta be actually practicing on our own, to be ready to do that. And then, I mean, even with 6 Feet Under, the very, very first show I ever played with 6 Feet Under, I had never jammed. I never played with Chris or Steve Swanson at the time. And so, like, the first show, the very first time I ever played with them was on stage, and that was it. We just went on stage and fucking played. And I remember being like, oh my God, I hope they can like just follow me and hear me. Like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, man, this shit was crazy. That was at the Scion Metal Fest in Memphis. It was badass. It was a good fest, but yeah, you're playing there in front of how many people, and you're just like, it's like, all right, you guys just follow me.
Wow. Hey,
Try and keep up,
dude. You're a pro.
Do you want to? I'm going to play this clip from. I'm trying to be cognizant of time here. I know earlier we weren't sure how long we're going to go. We're at hour 24 now, and I got 2 more songs I want to throw in, and we'll just we'll see where we're at. In like 15, 20 or whatever. Do you want to buffer this clip at all? Because I know it's a few years back, Marco, with the Marcus
That's
Miller.
right. Yeah. I mean, so I recorded this video for my friend Matt. I recorded a whole album with Matt. It was called, like, the band was called Chasm of Discord, and super awesome. Matt's like a fucking shredder. He went on tour with Rings of Saturn before and stuff, and I mean, he asked me if I could do basically record the song and make a video for the song, and I was like, hell yeah, bro. So I did it, and what's funny is I didn't know Sick Drummer was gonna post it, so but it's all good because it's Sick, it's death metal, but it's me in my little home studio. I mixed it myself and stuff, so.
And how did we get it?
I gave it to Matt. I made it, recorded it, and gave it to Matt, and then that was it. Yeah, I know, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? But yeah, whatever, it's Sick. I mean, I'm glad it's on. I'm glad it's on the channel though. So.
All right. Well, here's the video Marco never wanted us to have. I hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, there you
go. We'll see you. This one's 3:10. We'll be right back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
shredders. You only play with shredders.
I'm
I
all
mean,
about
Luke and Max, that guy.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Matt. Yeah,
Max is one of the sickest people I've ever seen play guitar.
dude. Hell yeah.
That was dope.
You know what I actually jam a lot still, Marco, is Neurogenic, your band.
Oh hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it. I know. I mean, that shit. Yeah, that shit's brutal, man.
Yeah, insane. I have like this list of like ultra brutal death
Yeah,
metal.
one second, guys. I'm sorry. Hey, Soli, can you ban that comment, please?
And that's on there. So I listen to it all the time.
Dude, hell yeah, man.
We got a robot or something on our Twitch popping in for advertising.
Oh hell no. But no, I mean that's sick, man. I appreciate it, man. That's
Yeah,
tight.
dude, you guys got to make shirts, dude. I need a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I know we had. I mean, this was 2016. When it was fresh, we had a lot of merch. But fuck, man, I know. So it's funny now that I've been like streaming more. I'm trying to find songs that I've recorded that I want to like play feature now on my streams. And I know my wife's like, you got to play Neurogenic, and I was like, dude, fuck. I gotta at least remember all that shit again.
That would be hard as fuck to learn, dude.
I know, dude, it is. There's a few songs that are like easier, so
yeah. That would be sick though. That would be
man.
That would be fucking awesome, dude. That
hell yeah, man, hell yeah.
Yeah, that album rips.
Dude, hell yeah. Thanks, man.
What about you, Matt, before a show? Aside from preparing to run when the stage collapses.
Oh God,
man, remember that one? I was standing right next to you, filming. It was on the Anthrax tour.
Yeah, Anthrax.
In New York. We're on the stage. I'm filming Hatebreed. The stage is moving around more than it should. I'm looking at the heads on top of the cabs next to me, and they're just rocking. I'm like, what's going on here? And as soon as they finish, a few minutes later, they were underneath the stage checking it out, and then the guy comes up on stage and makes the announcement to a packed Rochester auditorium, and they had to cancel the show because the stage was unstable.
Oh my God.
People were pissed. I ran to my car because it was brand new, and I didn't want someone keying it on the way out because they were pissed about not seeing Anthrax. But anyway, what do you do before a show? And then we'll play a little clip from you, and then we'll go from there.
I just, pretty standard. I have it's changed a bunch over the years, I guess. I was a big warm-up guy. Hatebreed's just, like Ramones Motorhead style, 1, 2, 3, 4, go, for a whole hour. So I like to warm up the hands and the fingers, so I just have a regular pad in the back, and I just have it set up all day because there's so much time during the day too where there's nothing to do. So it's cool just to go back there and rat-a-tat-tat on some rudiments or something, or just work the right hand, left hand, whatever, and just kill time, really. I mean, why not practice if you have all this time during the day? Utilize it for something. But before the show, I used to go back like an hour before and just at least have the sticks in my hand and just get the muscles used to, everything, and the right wrist at least for really just going for a whole hour set. But recently we were in Europe. We did 16 shows straight, no days off. It was actually awesome in a way because I found that I wasn't warming up at all. I would go in about half hour before we're going to play and kind of just, all right, everything's cool. The weight of the sticks is cool. Pop a couple pieces of gum, chill out with the water, and then get up there, and just like everything felt fine because you were never not warmed up because you're just playing every night, and just in the groove. And I liked it. I actually liked it. There was no pain or anything like that, like no pulled muscles or anything. So I felt that like maybe I don't have to be as extreme with a warm-up regiment before a show. I realized like maybe I'm expending a little bit too much by putting too much time in before the show, just not even rocking out, but just kind of just sitting there doing my thing. And then when you get up there, it's like, oh yeah, you're not tired, but it's just, the motor's been running too long already. You don't have that fresh feeling. So I think I'm going to cut it in half. We're going, I go back to Europe on Tuesday for a while. So I'm going to stick with that, I think. And maybe just, 20 minutes before the set, just have the sticks and a pad. That's it.
Nice.
little bit of stretching.
You leave this Tuesday, you said?
Yeah. Heading back over. We just got back a couple days ago, and we're heading back over Tuesday for a week.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then we come back from that, and we got like 3 weeks off, and then we go back in August for about 3 weeks. So a lot of bouncing in and out.
Very cool. Let me say hello to Matt DeGroot, who popped in, Chad. He's a friend of mine, drummer in a band out of Chicago called Beneath the Hollow. Killer player. Thanks for being here. And with that said, we're going to play a little bit of music from Mr. Matt Byrne here, and then we'll be right back. And this one's a short one. It's 2:30. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
As is a lot of hate breed.
Hell yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, torture!
I've been watching Art's been like windmilling the whole time, just like
Flipping my fucking table over here.
Hell yeah.
I think he broke a lamp or something. Oh, I don't know. It's
That's
funny.
awesome.
Yeah.
It seems so.
Love watching Matt. You know, hey Matt, you always had the really shallow rack toms, which was always something that I always tripped out. I'm like, yo, this dude's rack toms are like freaking flat, but they always sound fucking sick, and that shit's tight. Love it.
So how are we all doing on time?
I'm getting kind of tired. I'm on the East Coast. I don't. Navene, are you still in
Yeah, me too.
California?
No, I'm in Nashville.
Oh, word.
Tennessee.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Just moved to Nashville. It's sort of the Carstairs. You guys are neighbors, right?
Yeah, he copied me. I moved here first.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys.
He actually lives like in the same we live in a town like right outside of Nashville, and he lives here too.
Wow,
Yeah, a bunch of metal people are moving here. It's pretty sick.
that is pretty awesome. You could have some hell of a neighborhood jam party, like a block party.
So I know we could. It'd be pretty legendary.
Yeah.
What area did you move to?
Hendersonville.
Hendersonville. Got it. Dude,
The
there's
drummer,
a lot of- now that you mentioned it, there's a ton of metal people out there. Like,
Yeah, they're all.
And also Ray Lazier lives there, and he's building a new house and studio. And the drummer from
Yeah.
Rascal Flats lives right there.
Okay.
A lot of guys right in that area.
Yeah, a lot of people.
love
Yeah.
it.
All right, so I mean, I've got more questions we can go through, or if anybody's, if you guys want to wrap it up, just let me know, and we can just talk a little bit about what's coming up and that kind of thing. And I'll just skip
I think
the
we
other
should take a
questions.
couple of questions for sure.
Yeah,
Well, so-
definitely take some questions.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. If anybody's got any questions here, go ahead and shoot some in, and I'll try and feature a couple. What's funny is with Brett Batdorf in chat, there's 3 people on here that were in the Faceless.
Right, dude.
Yeah. That's funny.
Hey, Matt, were you in Hatebreed on Ozfest tour? It was like maybe 99.
I did the end of 2001. That's when I came back to the band after leaving for a while. And then I've done all of them since, which was, I think we've done like, we tallied it once. I think we've done like 7. The only one to do as many or more is Ozzy and Zach Wilde.
Yeah. That's sick. Yeah, I saw Hatebreed at Ozfest. I think it was 99 or maybe 2000. Yeah, one of those two. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I was,
2001 was with Slipknot and Linkin Park and I think Sabbath, with Bill Ward.
you know what? That
Oh,
might have
yeah.
been the one. I think that was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at the Shoreline in yeah. Slipknot and yep, and I think Black Sabbath played.
Those were always great times. I mean, all praise to Sharon Osbourne. She was very good to us.
Yeah.
It seemed like for a while there we were doing it every other year, and we definitely had a great time. And I feel like we really did make our mark on that second stage, man. It was just like parking lot, mosh pit mayhem.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it was sick. And then I saw you guys again at I want to say it was like with Poison the Well.
Yeah, 2002.
Yeah. At Great American Music Hall in San
Yeah.
Francisco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, I went to
That
that
was
show.
amazing. Oh my God. Yeah. Those tours were so good. The early 2000, man. It was like right after our album Perseverance came out.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was the first tour we did for that album, and it was just chaos across the country. That's awesome. You were there. Great American Music Hall. What a spot.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I remember that was like one of the best shows I went to there for sure. That was like insane. And then I feel like I saw you guys again. Like, did you guys tour with Slayer?
Yeah, that same year. Yeah, and we did about 6 tours with Slayer from that point on. We did a bunch of stuff in Europe, and then we did 2 or 3 in the States too. The first tour was Diecast, us, and Slayer when they were doing God Hates Us All, and Dave Lombardo had just come back to the band.
Yeah, I feel like
in February of 2002. The tour started in Connecticut, and we did. I think we did the Warfield.
The Warfield. I went to that show.
Yeah. Oh, sick.
Yo, Matt, your memory is next level, bro.
Yeah.
I'm recalling this.
I went to that show, and I also feel like Animosity opened for Hatebreed at a one-off show in Southern California somewhere.
San Diego?
No, like in LA, but I just don't remember. Like, I feel like it was around the Perseverance era.
We used to play the Palace Theater a lot, which became the Avalon, I guess, and maybe
Avalon. Yeah. That was it.
That was it.
We opened a random show for you guys at that place. It was that. Yeah, it was before it was called Avalon. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the apparently that place had. If it's still around, I assume it is. It's right, kind of down from the Capitol Records building.
Yep. But
and it was the Palace Theater, and they used to do they held the Academy Awards there or something way back in the day. There was some award show or some talk show was filmed there or something like that. Great historic place. I hope it's still open. I hope it's one of the clubs that's still stuck around after all these years.
That Perseverance record, by the way, I love the sound of it.
What's that?
I love the sound of that Perseverance record. It was a dumb dad joke, whatever. I'm surprised you didn't see Navene out in the crowd. He was air drumming.
He was 16 at the time, right?
Dude, I used to.
He was out there.
Yeah, Hatebreed is awesome.
There's a question for Art.
Much appreciated.
So, would you consider joining Winds of Plague again?
I think it'd be cool. The band, I went back to playing with them for a while. I did one tour when I was in Lamb of God, That was the last thing we ever did.
That was the tour with us, right? The one that we did. That was like a little run that we did together.
Oh
Yes.
shit!
You guys?
Yeah.
Sorry let me interrupt. I'm sorry. Scott
Rings
Carstairs.
of Saturn was on it too, right?
We got rated by Scott Carstairs on Twitch. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt. Thank you, Scott.
Nice.
Was Rings of Saturn on that one too, Navene? I think it was.
No, it was that band. Sorry, I'm not like Matt. I have the
I'm
worst.
not like Matt either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I remember.
No, it was
that.
Zenith Passage.
Yeah, that was the only. That's the only thing we did. I would always consider playing shows with Winds of Plague again. Like that shit was like a very pivotal time in my life. Like that shit was so fun because that was like I got to ride a wave of like nothing like from what I was going to, and Winds was on a really good wave for a while, and we wrote really good albums, in my opinion. Some that I think were ahead of the deathcore scene. I mean, I think if we would have just stuck with deathcore and not try to be an early Amon Amarth, I think we might have got somewhere with the music. But our fans didn't really connect with this. But I would totally consider. I would love to play shows with Winds of Plague again. Like I kind of miss all those dudes. I still talk to Johnny Plague all the time. He lives out towards me. I'm in Virginia. He's in Georgia, but we always talk and. Everybody's gone and done their own thing, and I haven't talked to a lot of those guys in a very long time. So if it ever happened, I would totally be down.
Here's a question for me. Thank you, Art. We do still do drum playthrough videos. There's not as many because of life. Really no particular reason whatsoever. Here's one for Navene. Tighten the Noose wants to know if you can talk about the work you did with Evan on your itinerary.
Okay. Yeah, he just so Evan lives out here in Nashville, and we've been friends for a really long time, and he was in Animosity with me. And then at the time, that was like kind of when I was on a break. I was just kind of doing like producing and making music on my own, and I wasn't touring in a band. And he wanted to make a follow-up to the first album that he made, which was just bass. And then so he's like, oh, I want to have like, drums on it and whatever, just kind of collab on it. And we just made this like really cool, like I just flew out and stayed with him for like 10 days and we just did the whole thing at his house. And yeah, pretty much like I actually mixed it too and like did all the production on it. So
cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. And it was like really fun to just get to hang out with one of my best friends. You know what I mean?
Right on. Here's a question from another friend of mine and killer drummer, Cameron Flory. He used to be in a band called Terror Horse. I believe they have reformed, and they're working on new material up in Canada. He also does lessons and whatnot. He's a killer player. He wants to know what everybody's favorite thing to play on the drums is. And I don't know if he means like what song in the band you're currently in or just in general. Like if you sat down, what would be your favorite thing to play, I guess? Marco, you haven't spoken in a minute. Let's go with you.
Oh yeah, Cameron, what's up? That's tight. Favorite thing to play? That's kind of tough for me. I obviously love to play blast beats, but I'm like obviously
what?
Yeah, but I will say this though. This is like a side most people never see, from me. But it's like. Literally when I'm at home right now and stuff and I'm going to like jam and practice or whatever, I usually just sit down on the kit and I'm just there playing like literally just like the most chillest groove ever. A lot of Deftones Abe vibe, around the fur type of grooves.
Nice.
And I even did it on my live stream. I think it was yesterday. I was like in between, the songs. I'm just like, yeah. So it's like, I pretty much like for me, I love doing that type of shit where I'm just like not even thinking about anything. Just like, oh man, I'm just gonna do this like groove for like 5 minutes straight for no reason. So I love doing shit like that if I'm not playing blast beats, at 300 BPM. But
nice. Yeah. My own Summer is on my list on Twitch, and I've played it a few times in the past couple of months when people request it. It's so much fun to play.
Yeah.
Exactly. I passed another one up here. Oh, go ahead. Same question, Matt.
It's usually something funky. whatever's in my head, it's almost like a player piano, you know, pick up the sticks and like just like a move it over to the ride, closed hi-hat, open it up a little bit, do a bunch of fills around the toms, just like get some backbeat going with a lot of ghost notes and
get
just
some in there. You get some
funky beat.
Yeah.
You're talking my language now. That's all I do. Because I can't do what you guys do.
Love it.
What about Navene?
I usually actually play a blast beat too, and then I'll do that, and then I'll like see if my triggers work properly, and then after that I'll do like a little. Then I'll start messing around like on doing, like weird shit on the hi-hat that doesn't really make very much sense. I kind of have like just my like me playing drums thing. It's like, I go like and then I do a blast beat and I do like a little bit of double bass and I'm like, okay, this is working, and then I'll like kind of just do some grooves and stuff.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, really. Just kind of do my like, you know, run through the classics.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to answer it too, because why not? Right now, my favorite stuff to play is stuff by a band called City and Color, which is Dallas Green, who used to be the lead singer of Alexis on Fire. Mm-hmm. It's his new stuff, and it's just chill as fuck, and I love it. And also a band called Goose. They're kind of a jam band, like Fish, whatever else, but they're cooler, and I love playing that stuff. What about you, Art?
I'm sticking with Matt. It's always been that. I study David Garibaldi as best I possibly can, because I can't. Not that I can't play it with Lamb of God, but obviously the contrast between a funk record and Lamb of God stuff. Like I only play. First thing I always play is usually something David Garibaldi, something off of anything back to Oakland Stroke, What Is Hip, Soul Vaccination.
Yeah.
Which is Soul Vaccination is the groove that I always play when I get on a kit, which is a fucking it's actually, once you get it's just paradiddles and it's just
that's it.
Up, but
that closing groove, man.
I move it around on the rides and the toms, and I try and come up with feels like I'm not a very technical like drummer. I know I play with Lamb, but like Lamb is if you think about it, it's kind of less is more. Especially with the newer stuff that I've written, I really like to kind of sit back in the pocket as best I can. Footwork, always working on my footwork. I don't have feet like Lord Marco or Navene. I can't do any of the shit that these guys are doing nowadays, man. I just can't, and I'm so mind blown, and I respect them so much. But I usually just do something funky, like Matt, man. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another one for me is Harvey Mason, of course.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
And I tried a couple Porcupine Tree songs the other day from the Closure Continuation record. Ooh. I got like 3/4 of the way through the first one and halfway through the second one. Not bad. And then I was like, what did he just do there? And I had to stop and rewind. Gavin Harrison is fucked.
Deadwing. The Deadwing album is one of my favorites. There's a B-side that she's moved on. There's some stupid licks in there that I didn't hear before on the actual record he's an animal.
He is.
That shit is funky. Like he just sits.
It's badass. Badass. Yeah. Here's a good question. I'll just pop it up. Does anyone else have a non-metal side project like Matt does, Albino Love Slaves, which I've listened to and it's really cool shit?
Yeah, it's Albino. It's a cover band. Albino Love Slaves. I jam with 2 local guys here, and we take cover songs. Could be anything from Chris Stapleton all the way up to The Cult, and we just kind of do something with it and make it weird and crazy, and people dig it, man. Three-piece band. It's a lot of fun. Playing covers is fun. I love playing any type of cover, really. I mean, there's some Chaka Khan in there. There's some. We do a Ludacris cover, What's Your Fantasy? And my bass player singer can spit it like like it's ludicrous. It's amazing. And then I do a solo at the end of it. It's like a just while he's spitting over it, and then we just take it off in a different direction. Yeah, I love taking any type of cover tune and just making it into something that it's absolutely not and wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
Giving it like a new life.
That's like Twitch drumming. I've been doing it now for, I don't know, 3 months. The interviews I've been doing for a while, but I've been playing for about 3 months. And I got 200 songs on my list. I made my own list. And it ranges from Floyd to Slayer. You know what I mean? Everything in between. And sometimes I'll take a live learn, but I'm not really doing that a lot yet because it's not my thing. But Anthony Zakari, who's in chat, is a live learn fucking master. It's crazy. Marco, you made him live learn one of your Waking songs the other day, and he almost fucking nailed it. Like, never heard it before.
Oh, right. Yeah. Actually, I know what you're talking about. That. Yeah, that was impressive as hell. I mean, considering he had never heard it before, I was like, what the fuck?
It's like that with everything people throw at him. It could be, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, Navene, I don't think you have any side projects where you're like doing covers or anything. In art, you're probably too busy. So,
I mean,
it was a good question though.
I always want to.
Right.
I live in Richmond, Virginia. Navene, you're in Nashville. Like, I think if you really wanted to start any sort of project in any realm, right, you can find people left and right. The talent in Nashville is fucking insane. And honestly, in Richmond, Virginia, it's the most underrated shit I've ever experienced. I lived in LA my whole life, and when I came out here and started seeing the local scene of cover bands and like just bands, just in general, horn players, percussionists, and shit. So, to be honest, if I can start a project, it would be a funky freestyle, freaking like
freestyle,
straight up. Like I'm and Navene, I'm not sure. I'm interviewing you, Navene, but like I'm trying.
That's the idea, man.
I'm trying to get more into the electronic side of things, of like trying to play electronic music, where I know Evans has their new like electronic thing, the hybrid stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It seems, I feel like that might be a direction that I will lean to be able to, like, if I can play Rock Steady by the Whisperers on one end, and then on the other hand play like some like deep house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the bit, and I feel like I can find some cats in Richmond that would actually fuck with that. So
yeah, that'd be really cool.
If I had a side project, it would be something like along the lines of freestyle.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, kind of. I don't have like an official side project right now, but I mean, just like my other thing.
Yeah.
I make electronic music. That I always want to do. I always get ideas for new stuff, but I don't have like the time right now to do it.
Respect.
So, but I will eventually. There's a bunch of projects I have that I want to do.
Yeah, of course.
How long have you been in Richmond, Art?
3 years.
You know Dave? Are you friends with Dave Whitty?
Yeah. Fucking
Yeah,
love
he
Dave.
lives right near you.
See, like Dave that's a perfect example. This was a few years ago when we were recording the Omens album, and I went out in the middle of sessions or we were writing, and I went out. It was Halloween, and he's got a tribute band to was it Van Halen? No, I can't remember. But they all dressed up, and he has a cover band where they just play covers, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, this is so fun. Like, on one end you're thrashing, and on the other end you're playing something completely different. And that was actually my first experience, was to go watch him play, because I heard that he had a side band just for fun, and I was like, fuck, yeah, he's dope, you know.
I don't know the side band, but I know his history, and he's a legend. Love that dude. There's a question for you about John Campbell and breaking out the beatboxing on tours.
It'd prefer if he didn't. I think that's just in his nature. He always has a slide step, and he's just kind of always on that game. So yes, he's definitely still beatboxing.
All right, I'll do the time check again. How's everybody feeling?
Good, bro. Good.
Keep some questions.
I'm losing gas, but only because it's 11 o'clock here, and
Oh yeah.
I'm a sober dude with a little Chihuahua and my girl, and I'm just like,
Mm.
All right. Well, I've got
a couple more questions, and then we'll
absolutely.
we'll call it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any other ones I want to pop in there yet. But if you weren't a drummer, what else would you like to be doing? Let's just really quickly. Is magic going to be one of your answers, Art?
Done. I want to be a magician. I am a magician. I do magic.
I've seen some shit. I've
actually been doing magic longer than I've been playing drums, longer than I've done anything. Baseball was a huge deal for my life. If I could have kept up with that, I was shitty in school because I wanted to be in a band. So it worked out. But if I could have, I was actually a really good ball player. I was scouted for a while, and then I kind of just blew it, and my grades were never up to par. But I would either be I would be a full-time magician or a baseball player if I can.
Right on. Matt with the baseball shirt on. What about you?
I love baseball. Played when I was a kid. Never not good like that, Art. And Art, you should absolutely work the magic show into the next cruise somewhere. But there's so many lounges on that boat. Like, it's so fitting, man. I know you brought that up on your Instagram or whatever the other day. And how was that not thought about on the last cruise? I would have been there every night.
I'm gonna see all y'all probably haven't seen my magic, but I'm more of an up close magician.
Okay, great. You're real up close right now. You got something you can do?
It's amazing.
I got this pen.
Dude, that was sick.
You make the pen go away.
Oh shit!
But
there it is.
There, bro.
I've been doing it so long, and I'm always I practice my magic more than my drums.
That's awesome, man.
100%. But
You got to do it, Art. You got to do it. Work it in. We weren't able to work wiffle ball in onto the last cruise. We were talking about doing wiffle ball, but it didn't happen.
What about you, Matt Cook?
What would I be doing?
Yeah. Would you be a chef or am I way
Yeah.
off?
Oh man, I'd love to be a chef. I dabble a little in real estate. I dig it. I have a couple rental properties. I'd probably ride that out more. Go harder onto that, and probably
Kevin you can call Kevin from Acacia Strain. He can get you a job.
Yeah. He's only an hour north of me. My bass player Chris too. He just became an agent too, and I have a bunch of friends, randomly music guys who have become real estate agents. I think the pandemic really put that into high gear with a lot of people, something else to do.
Yeah.
People just moving in other places and whatnot. Either that or I'd probably, I dabble in the stock market a little bit too. I'd probably hit that a little harder. It's just legalized gambling, but I'd try to figure it out a little more.
All right, because I'm a dork like this, what do you do more, stocks or options?
I dabbled with options, but that's super risky. I won some and I lost some. I'm like a Warren Buffett guy, man. I'm long term. If you don't understand it, stay away from it. If it's easy,
that's true. But I will say there is a lot more potential to make revenue trading options because you can cover both sides of your bet. Look into it a little more. What about you, Navene? What else would you be doing if you weren't drumming?
Not doing stocks. I should, though. I'm not good with any of that stuff.
Me either.
I don't know. I'm like a serial hobbyist, so there's like a million things that I would do. But let me think about that. I don't know. I like fitness and health stuff. I'm like really into nerding out on that stuff. It'd be a fun job. I like working on my house, so I would probably if money was no object, I would probably just make music in my back room and work on my house and have a gym and make food. I love cooking.
Nice, me too.
nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Just doing like just the basics is really fun for me. I actually have like a whole shed full of tools, and I love being handy and building stuff. That's pretty much like my second favorite thing to do. Is I built the studio. Me and Evan Brewer actually built the studio in my house. That's like all the drum videos and stuff.
Oh wow, it's beautiful.
Navene, what are your macros?
My macros.
Okay.
Yeah, they're right now.
Right now.
It's kind of weird. I'm kind of testing something out, but I just do. It's like 100 grams of fat and almost 200 grams of carbs and 100 grams of protein.
Shit.
So it's kind of like, but I'm just eating like really whole food. That's why it's like that. So kind of just ate super whole food for like a couple days, and then just kind of saw what it evened out to be.
Okay.
And then just roll with that.
I basically, just to nerd out on this, I over COVID, I got really into it, and then clearly I pay more attention to everything, and I've tried everything, and I understand everything a lot better, and I'm weighing my food. And I used to do when I got nerded out on it, I was like all the way in.
Yeah.
All the way in, and that's when I had results though, like straight up.
That's
like,
the only time. Yeah. Me too. And I go on and off of it. I'll do like we had a wedding, and there was so the 2 weeks or whatever that our family was here and stuff, I'm just like eating pizza and having a good time and getting drunk every day and stuff.
When I moved to Richmond, and my girl is going to school to be a naturopathic doctor, so natural, organic foods, whole foods, local farm. We only eat from farmers markets. We got vegetable shares.
That's
we got
awesome,
dairy
man.
shares.
That's really cool.
So what I'm trying to do now, and I'm nerding out. Sorry, y'all, I'm nerding out on the fitness.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's to the point to where I'm like, I'm not counting anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm also like making sure that it kind of levels out where if I'm in a little bit of a deficit, but I want to be able to put on muscle and keep my fat low, but I'm not like doing almond milk. I'm doing like dairy, all local stuff. So I actually feel.
Yeah, feel way better. Yeah. That's kind of like what I'm doing too, because I've done I've done like any type of diet you could imagine. Like I've literally done every single diet, and I think the best like I ever had was when I was eating like more whole food and just kind of so kind of trying to get back to that. I'm also like, my next birthday, which is not for a year, is I'm going to be 40. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should like dial this in a little bit. Yeah.
I feel lazy now because I'm into fitness too, but it's usually just like fitting this whole sub in my mouth.
I love that too. I mean, I definitely go through phases like months at a time where I'm just like, I'm eating all the food I love. Like fuck this stupid fitness shit.
What's weird though is for the last 10 years, my main gig is I'm the project manager for a company that brands and rebrands major corporations, mainly in the protein industry. So like Dymatize, Beast, Muscle Milk, Muscle Farm, all these companies. We do their packaging. So I'm so much. I stare at this shit all day, and
that's wild.
I know more about it than most people, and I don't take any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Chicken and rice, bro.
Chicken and rice, dude.
There it is.
I hear it.
Said it, sir.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that kind of stuff, and just I don't know. I like. I'm like I said, I'm a serial hobbyist, so I try to like not get into hobbies now because I'll like just go on Reddit in some like weird sub and just be like, all right, I now am a paracord not enthusiast.
What about you, Marco? What would you be doing if you were?
Oh man. Let's see here. I would probably be the vocalist of a band because then I don't have to like carry around all my fucking all this fucking gear and bringing the cymbals on the plane with me and
yeah, but then someone could just mute your mic just like that and you can't be heard.
Damn.
I'm just
vocalist is definitely the best job for sure.
I know. I'm like, bro, the vocalist for sure. No, but I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't know. I would. It's like kind of crazy if I didn't do drumming. If I wasn't so involved in it. I mean, I always wonder what my life would be like. And it's like I probably would have went down this totally insane path. I would. Honestly, I would have loved to become a lawyer, like a family law lawyer, to help people out. But other than that, I'm just like. Yeah. I'm like being the vocalist though would be pretty fucking sweet to be honest.
Like, you're sick and you just don't you don't even have to have a mic. You just roll up and where's the mic?
Yeah. Right.
Well, let's do this real quick. I got a quick ad from Evans. I'm going to pop up on screen, and then we'll start to talk about what you guys have in the near future coming up. So we'll be back in 15 seconds.
The most technically advanced drummers in the world require the most technologically advanced drumheads. Bit of a no-brainer when you think about it. In any case, we're more than happy to oblige.
And a word from TAMA. Here we go. What's funny about that little ad spot is that when Dirk sent it to me from TAMA, some of the footage in it is actually stuff we filmed.
Dude, nice.
I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nah. So, yeah, all right, let's just go ahead and start off. Marco, I know you've got some stuff coming up. Let's just start with you, and we'll just go around, and you guys can tell us what you guys got on the horizon, and we'll say our goodbyes.
Right on, right on. So, obviously at the moment, Waking the Cadaver has a few shows coming up. We're playing in Chicago in July at the Rumble. It's going to be sick. And then in August, we're playing Death Feast, a festival in Germany. And pretty much, after that, we have a few, East Coast shows. And 6 Feet Under actually will be announcing a tour very soon. So let's just say that the lineup for it's fucking badass. I won't say anything else than that, but it's a really good lineup, and I'm excited for that because 6 Feet Under hasn't played any shows since basically since the pandemic. So, and we had 2 albums come out in the last couple of years. So we've just been sitting on those doing nothing. So it's really awesome that we're finally getting back into touring and playing shows again with Chris Barnes and Jack Owen. It's awesome to be involved in that band. So yeah, I mean, pretty much other than that though, I'm always recording for anybody who sends me tracks to record. So
let's just get this hooked up right now. Can my buddy Matt the Groot come out with his little film company?
Oh yeah. I was gonna. Oh dude, I mean, me and Matt have been talking about it. Yeah, he's gonna come out.
Deal.
He's coming out to it. I'm like,
Deal.
I might even use some of his cymbals or something, or his pedals. I don't know.
Oh, right on.
Because I'm like, dude, I literally hate traveling with bringing gear. I hate it. You guys, I hate it, bro. I want to get through. I want to get through the airport. Just walk. Go right through the security. I hate checking bags and stuff, man.
He's got some good gear, man. He's a killer player.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh yeah, no, Matt's awesome. So yeah, I'll definitely see him there. I'm excited.
All right,
Yeah.
Mr. Cruz.
We are embarking on a very lengthy, long anticipated Ashes of the Wake anniversary tour.
Oh, nice.
20 years record that changed my life as a kid. So it's called the Ashes of Leviathan tour. It's Lamb of God, Mastodon, Kerry King's new project, and Malevolence from, I believe, Scotland. I hope I'm not fucking that up. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great tour. Like I said, we're playing the record front to back. It's a moment.
It's my favorite record. That and American Gospel is my favorite.
And it was the first record I heard. And as you hear a band, you obviously go back and whatever, So, that's what we got coming up. And then we got our Lamb of God Headbangers Boat Cruise in around over October 31st, I believe, like Halloween time. And just a couple, I think we play, what's that festival in Chicago? Riot Fest with Slayer again.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Super thankful. Very thankful for the year.
This comment's great because it's a double entendre here with your magic.
I was gonna say, man, guy's got amazing hair.
He does. He does. It is magical. Have you ever toured Mastodon before? Because you see right above my head is Braun here.
Yeah, I went
to high school at Braun.
I toured with Mastodon on the Mayhem Festival.
Right on.
They were on there, and then I think they were on our last year's Headbangers Boat Cruise. Not necessarily a tour, but we got to play shows with them.
So much fun. So much fun to hang out.
Leviathan, it's a very I mean, you got 2 albums in 2003 that changed the game. So
Yeah. It's pretty wild. Like I said, behind me, I went to high school at Braun. I've known Tim since he was 14 and Colross since he was like 18 and I. We all grew up together in Rochester. That's why Sick Drummer exists.
Dope.
You'll have fun hanging out with Braun. He always is a good time.
Yeah, I love it. He definitely loves magic. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Magic and clowns.
Magic and clowns. It's gonna be great.
Kind of have a good name, like magician name already.
Art Cruz.
Yeah, I think that's like a sick.
Do I have to say it like that? Like super,
what?
Like super, like Art Cruz.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a magician. Like, it's good.
Wait. Do it. Or do it again.
Art Cruz.
Yeah.
That's my oh God, I love that.
Your Gene Hoglan earlier was fucking spot on too, by the way.
Dude, Gene Hoglan is the only dude that called me by my first. Like, I hadn't been called Arthur in a long time, and I remember the Testament tour. Testament was opening on the Slayer tour. We were touring, and I turned the corner. He's like, Arthur? I was like,
please tell me you said, "Hey, what's up, Eugene?"
I mean, dude, I would never. Like, I mean, that dude is. It's just funny to me. And I remember, long story short, he came into our dressing room once, and he just air drummed all of like YYZ, like the whole song. Just sat in the dressing room, and they were adjusting the PA. He just sat there air drumming the whole fucking thing. I was like,
wow.
And I'm just like watching him, like the beat air drumming in the car, like watch me. But Gene obviously is just doing it, and I was like, this is the coolest moment ever.
That is cool.
Oh yeah.
Navene does air keys to 2112. What's coming up for you, sir?
We are leaving for tour in a few days. We're gonna be supporting As I Lay Dying.
Tight.
And then we've got new music coming out soon. We've just put out a new single, 2 new singles actually. Those are out, and we're going to kind of continuously release more. And that is it for now in the near future.
Okay. Matt? Oh, yeah, you just said you're leaving on Tuesday.
Yeah, we're in and out of Europe for the summer. Currently, Hatebreed, we're in the midst of our 30-year anniversary of being a band.
Yeah.
30 years. So we're doing a bunch of touring this year in support of that, in and out of Europe for the summer, doing the festivals, and then in the fall, end of September, about through Halloween, we're doing the U.S. with Carcass, Harm's Way, and Crypto.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you guys are actually playing in Nashville, man. I'm trying to come to the show.
You got it, brother. Let's hang.
That'd be sick.
If you never stood and watched Luana D'Amato play with Crypto, she's fantastic.
Oh yeah, amazing. I've only seen we've crossed paths on some festivals. I haven't met her personally yet, but the videos I've seen of her, she makes it look so easy. It's insane, so smooth.
Yeah.
I look forward to geeking out, and I've already talked to Dan a bunch about doing drum nerd stuff while we're on tour. You know, Dan Wilding from Carcass. So, yeah, it's going to be fun, man. I mean, we haven't toured with Carcass. It's a band we never toured with. We've done festivals with them and cross paths in Europe and stuff like that, but never an official tour. And they're like, you know, the heroes from back in the day. One of the bands, I mean, we've toured with Slayer and Napalm Death and all these bands that we've always like been fans of coming up. Carcass is like one of the only ones that we never have. So I'm totally glad that it's actually happening. And, yeah, hopefully, like, if anybody's home, let's hang, man. We're rolling through the whole U.S., so whoever wants to come out, let's talk shop.
Yeah, dude. The venue that you guys are playing at is really sick. So I'm trying to go.
You don't have to try, Navene. No more trying. You're there. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we
So I'll just throw this out there. Anytime any of you want to send me any video from your tour, I will be more than happy to put it up on our YouTube and promote. So,
hell yeah, man.
And when we're done here, after the interview's over, of course, I have all your endorsing companies that you sent me your lists earlier, but any other links, for bands, for merch, for teaching, for drum tracking, for whatever, just text me or message me, whatever, and I'll throw them in the link to this video after we're done.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Yeah, Marco, same goes for you, man. I'd love to meet you in person. I know, Art, you're going to be out and about. You're going to be busy as hell, but if we happen to cross paths, I'm gonna come find you somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Let's do some tower power all day, baby.
Oh, dude, all about it.
Well, let me just say it's been an honor and a privilege and a lot of fun having you guys on here tonight. I want to thank you for taking the time out to do this. I want to wish you all, the best of luck and continued success and health. Good luck with your new bride and your wedding and your marriage and your house. The dog we didn't get to see, I hope is cool. Matt, at the beginning we saw the dog, but he didn't make an appearance.
He's sleeping right here.
I was thinking about him. But, you guys are all fucking amazing, and I thank you so much for taking the time out to be part of this and for everything that you've done for me over the years as well. Much love, and that's it. I'm good, man. So
all right, hell yeah, man.
Killer.
Thanks for having us on, man. And yeah, you guys all rip, dude. It's really cool.
Yeah.
To chill with you guys for a minute.
Great hanging with you guys, man. Great hanging. It's awesome. It's a pleasure, and I'm gonna come find you, whatever city we're rolling through.
Obviously, Marco or Navene, if you guys want to check out this Ashes tour, it's gonna be insane.
Oh, that would be amazing. If you guys,
hell yeah, bro.
Oh, there. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, hell yeah.
We'll exchange contact. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Send contacts.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right on, y'all.
I'll be posting tour dates for all your upcoming shows and whatnot. Just be safe out there, have fun, and keep in touch, please.
All right, y'all. Take care.
With that, I will end the stream like I do every other stream and say we are done.
See you guys.
Be good. Be good. Be safe.
Oh, and thanks to everybody who commented, joined us, and thanks to my mods on Twitch. And thanks to Scott for the raid. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.